We all know him as Shin-chan, or if we're using his full name, Shinnosuke Nohara. The thick eyebrows, the red shirt, the constant chaotic energy that defined an entire generation of Japanese childhood. He was the kid who never listened, the boy who flashed his neighbors, the immortal 5-year-old who made us laugh at things we shouldn't. He was a symbol of pure, unfiltered freedom. But in Japan, there's a shadow over the crayon, a dark, psychological theory that transformed this comedy into an urban legend so disturbing it was labeled anti-childhood propaganda. They say Shinnosuke Nohara never lived to see his 6th birthday. The legend starts in a quiet street in Kasukabe. It tells the story of a tragic afternoon where Shinnosuke's little sister, Himawari, wandered into the path of a speeding truck. Shinnosuke, being the brother we saw in the movies, the one who would do anything for his family, didn't hesitate. He dived to save her. But this isn't an anime episode. There was no miracle, no last-second save. Both children were killed instantly. And this is where things change. This is where the comedy dies and the horror begins. The theory suggests that Misae Nohara, their mother, didn't just lose her children that day. She lost her mind. The grief was so absolute, so crushing, that her brain snapped to protect itself. She couldn't accept a world where her house was silent. So she took her son's leftover crayons and she started to draw. She drew a world where they were still alive, a world where Shinnosuke was still annoying her, where Himawari was still crawling around, where the sun was always shining on the Nohara household. Every single episode we've watched for 30 years, they aren't stories. They are the hallucinations of a broken woman. The crayon in the title isn't a cute artistic choice, it's the medium of her madness. But that's not the scary part. The scary part is why this legend became so viral in Japan, why people were so quick to believe that a happy childhood was actually a lie. In the late 90s and early 2000s, Japan was changing. The economic miracle had crashed. Families were shrinking. The birth rate was plummeting. The idea of the perfect, chaotic family like the Noharas was becoming a myth. To an exhausted, overworked society, Shin-chan felt like a ghost of a life they could no longer have. The anti-childhood label didn't come from the show itself, but from the realization that Shinnosuke was too free. He was too happy. He represented a version of Japan that people felt was dead. The truth is, we want the urban legend to be true, because it's easier to believe that a happy childhood is a tragic hallucination than it is to admit that we've simply outgrown the ability to be that free ourselves. And that's when everything breaks. When you go back and watch an old episode now, look at Misae's face when she screams at Shin-chan. If you believe the legend, she isn't angry, she's desperate. She's screaming at a memory to stay real for just one more minute before the crayon runs out. It turns the show from a comedy into a psychological autopsy of grief. It suggests that the brightest colors are usually used to cover up the darkest truths. Next time you hear that iconic, mischievous laugh, try not to think about the silence that follows it, because a crayon only lasts so long, and eventually, everyone has to stop drawing.